Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of my 7 Pillars of Mental Performance in 365 Days. I am your host, Jay Hollingshed, high performance mindset coach and public speaker. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today is consecutive episode number 356 of 365. So we're pushing the limit, we're pushing the envelope. We are now we're down to single digits. So we're less than 10 episodes away from reaching our goal. We started actually on December 30th of 2018 of our 365 consecutive episodes. Thank you again for tuning in and staying with me all year. Today is Saturday, day 7. We will be discussing pillar number 7, which is always positive and negative self-talk. Positive and negative self-talk. Now, I got my laptop right in front of me. We're going to pull some information from here and get right into it. But before we do that, we got to give our roll call. Starting out with everybody that's tuning in for class, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On the dot, we got my daughter, Jaleesa Hollingshed. We got my cousin, Gwendolyn Jones Henderson. What's up, Gwen? I appreciate you for tuning in. My big brother, AJ, I love you, man. I appreciate you. My wife, Lisa. My other daughter, Bree. Everybody's tuning in. Those that are watching this on repeat, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Now, if you're watching this for the very first time, you can tune in to this episode and the 8 more that's coming behind it. But you can catch all of my other episodes, my 300 plus episodes on YouTube. My YouTube channel is there. Go for it. It's under my name, Jay Hollingshed. It's there for your viewing pleasure. Now, let's get right into it. Positive and negative self-talk, all right? So, shout out my Aunt Gina Cecily. What's up? I see you slid on in there. I see you. I appreciate you as well. So, now here we go. Positive and negative self-talk. The concept of self, okay? The concept of self or a self-concept. It's a general term that's used to refer how you think about or evaluate or perceive yourself. Now, to be aware of yourself, you have to have a concept of yourself. So there's this famed psychologist, this real famous psychologist by the name of Carl Rogers. And anybody who's studied psychology, you know exactly who he is. So he has this concept or this belief that the self-concept is built of 3 components. They are, number 1, your self-image. Number 2, your self-esteem. And number 3, your ideal self. So your self-image is how you view yourself. Your self-esteem, that's the value you place on yourself. And your ideal self, that's the self you want to be. Your ideal self, your ideal job, your ideal whatever it is, that's what you want. Myself, I have an ideal customer base or client base I would love to have. So your ideal self is who you really wish you were like. The idea of your perfect, quote unquote, self. Now, there's a distinct difference, when it comes to self-image and how you see yourself and your ideal self. So how you see yourself is down here. How you want to be your ideal self is up here. So how you see yourself is your self-image and your ideal self is up here. But what's in the middle? Your middle just happens to be your self-esteem. That's your value, how you value yourself. Now, it's very interesting, and I find it to be peculiar but not coincidental that your value lies between how you see yourself and how you want to be. Your value says a whole lot. That's kind of like having 2 slices of bread with nothing in the middle. Then your sandwich ain't worth nothing. But if you got something in the middle, you got something worth having, worth holding. So if you got that value in the middle, that's worth having, because that's going to get you from your self-image to your ideal self, the value you place on yourself. The value that you place on yourself is a strong influencer of the conversation that takes place in your head, the conversation that you hear from your psyche all day long. It influences and pushes your conversation, the value that you have on yourself. Here's how that happens. It happens in many ways, but check this out. It influences the direction of where your mind places your awareness. In other words, it influences your thoughts. It influences your thoughts, okay? Because your awareness is your focus, your aim, and your mind has many different areas in it. And your areas in your mind could be good, bad, positive, negative, healthy, unhealthy. It can be about your car. It can be about your spouse. It can be about your kids, your ideal dream job. It can be about your last vacation. All of those are different places in your mind. You can direct your thoughts or direct your awareness. Now, your value, the value you place on yourself, will actually place an aim and help you aim where you put your awareness in your mind. It helps aim your thoughts. What you think about yourself helps you think more about yourself. It gives your thoughts direction, okay? Speaking of giving your thoughts direction, it directs your focus on where to concentrate so you can know I said that wrong. It directs your focus, telling you where to concentrate and in what direction to concentrate. That's what it does. It directs your focus and tells you what direction to concentrate in. That's the value you have on yourself. It's going to help your self-talk direct your focus. The value you have on yourself also pushes and influences your level of confidence. If you have a great value placed on yourself, then your self-confidence is going to be high. If the value you place on yourself is low, of course your self-esteem is going to be low and your confidence is going to be low. So the level of energy you have, your personal vibration, it's going to be low. You got to bring that up. So if you bring that up, you have to bring up the value of yourself. How you value yourself highly influences your self-talk. Now, another way that happens, it helps your self-talk establish a range of the amount of stress you can handle. Because once you start going through stress and your self-talk sees it, it's going to talk crazy to you. It's going to tell you all kind of things based on the value you've placed on that, okay? It can tell you the good stuff and it can tell you the bad stuff. It's self-talk. Your self-talk is what it is, just basically self-talk. But it's up to you to determine whether that self-talk is positive or negative. It starts out negative, yeah, no problem. Just like babies start out trying to be sneaky, and you don't have to teach a baby to lie. That's already negative. It's there. We have to be able to push our own positive environment to where we can influence our self-talk from a positive standpoint, from a positive point of view. Once we do that, we control what it says to us. So, depending on the environment that we keep our psyche in, I said our psyche because our psyche is that voice that's running its mouth. That's the voice that's the self-talk, the voice of our psyche. So the environment we keep our psyche in, depending on that environment, that's going to help guide the conversation, whether it's positive or negative. Also, depending on the mental toys that we give our self-talk to play with, that we give our psyche to play with, our self-talk is generated from that. Now, you're looking at me crazy, probably saying mental toys. What are you talking about? It's like this. Just like the practical toys you give a child when a child is playing, those practical toys are going to influence a child's behavior. They're going to influence the child's decision making. They're going to influence the child's how the child occupies their time, what they choose to occupy their time with as they grow older. Now, I'm talking about psychological toys when you give your psyche something to play with. What are the psychological toys? Books, people you hang around, the music you listen to, all of those things you give your psyche to occupy your psyche. And that's what's going to influence the psyche's conversation to you. So whatever you give to your psyche is going to give back to you in the form of a conversation. It's going to give back to you in the form of suggestions. Now, that conversation or suggestion can be one-sided by your psyche controlling the conversation, telling you what it wants to tell you, or you controlling the conversation with your psyche, and you're telling it what you want to hear. Okay? Now, if you're at the point where you're arguing back and forth with your psyche, you're still fighting because you haven't established your self-value. You got to establish the value for yourself, and then your psyche can pick that up and give you the value you have for yourself. So establish your self-talk by establishing the value for yourself. That's all that I have. Be well, stay blessed, and through love, be a blessing. God bless.